So I said to Jeff, you are on the other end. Keep an eye on my stuff. Keep an eye because someone here is going to steal it.
Hi, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Sujata.
We knew you as late to travel.
I was traveling all over the world, but then came the pandemic.
I was traveling too, but I had a stroke in 2016. And now together we're going to travel the world. We discovered romance and adventure.
So up to now, Jeff and I have had a very wonderful experience in India. We've been having so many loving, caring, helpful people. No one's tried to rip me off. No one's tried to hurt me. And the last place we'd expect to have it happen was here at the Indira Gandhi airport.
So what happened is, I don't like to use a wheelchair at all, but I do use, the exception is the airport. So they had a third party,
Cruise, it was called. The guy comes and says, I'm going to help. I'm the service. It'll cost you 1,200 rupees. I know I'm being ripped off. So I basically, said I don't have 1,200 on me right now. And they said, oh, well, only domestic credit cards. Of course, I don't have a domestic credit card. Finally, they agreed to take it in euro. But somehow the conversion of 1,200 rupees came out to 20 euro. So that really got me very suspicious, but I'm stuck. It's the only service in the airport.
And when we were in the line to go through security, the guy kept asking what I would call diversionary questions to try to take our attention off of looking at our
Yeah, so he was doing basically what I've seen this in the Barcelona port, the scam where they basically try to confuse you. They take your passport, they put everything, they try to make it confuse you. So basically what happens is we're going through security and I see the guy slip the military guy some money. So I already didn't trust him and I was already worried about him stealing because he'd already asked me if I had jewelry in my carry-on, and is that why I wasn't checking it in. So he slips the military guy some money. And so basically, they decide to open my bank and create more confusion. So I basically tell them that I tell them, if something happens, I know exactly where it happened, and this is what's going on. I told the guy not to touch her. He kept trying. Every time he'd say, no, don't help us. We can do this. He would be like, no, I'm doing this. So I basically at the security line, I said to him, who's the other end, I said, don't touch my stuff.
That was basically how it went. And I used slightly more sultry language on the guy on the different occasions.
Yeah, there's a part where I go in through a closed curtain. So I said to Jeff, you are on the other end. Keep an eye on my stuff. Keep an eye because someone here is going to steal it. It was really surprising to me because everything had worked out so well in India that so many people had taken care of us. I was in situations where we had needed to rely on the kindness of strangers, and for the most part, that's what we got. And that's very different from the Delhi that I used to know, where I could trust people. Like, for example, I left my cell phone in the cab, and the guy brought it back right away. Didn't ask for anything. People were very, very kind and helpful, and things have changed. A lot more transparency, and this was very surprising to see in an international airport.
Delhi and Munich, juxtaposition to the nth degree. As soon as we leave the airport and head out outside in Munich, you're greeted by a big draft of very fresh air. The air contrast is striking between the two places. Something I have to say, this whole city is really kind of set up for people who could have limited mobility. So the bus, for example, is an absolute pleasure to board without needing help or anything. It was just, you could get on there and sit with it. It just felt so enabling. I'll use that word, enabling. And that was it. We were here for a quick stop, bit of a coffee for breakfast, hung out for a while in our room. We're heading to the airport now in about an hour.
Yeah, the thing is that in a country like Munich, in a country like Germany, there's a lot of money and the infrastructure is all adapted, and you don't really need to necessarily, count on people because, the infrastructure is there. In India, you have to count on people, and most of the people have been wonderful and rose to the occasion, but then every so often you get somebody who is, a fraudster, a trickster, and so on, and that makes your vulnerability more apparent. Come travel with us. Please subscribe to our channel, Fierce Travel.
So do it.